This video is for our Hiscoe Jiu-Jitsu parents and any martial arts school looking to deal with guidelines in relation to operations and the coronavirus. In this video, what I want to do is go through each of the guidelines that have been provided to us by Fraser Health and also WorkSafe BC. So this is a pretty comprehensive plan that we have here for our students. We want to make sure that the number one thing is that our students are safe. Now, when you develop your plan, WorkSafe BC says that you don't have to provide it to them, but you do have to have it on site in the event of an inspection. So please make sure that your document is well laid out and that you have it on site with you. Our Hiscoe Jiu-Jitsu mitigation plan in relation to COVID is meant to meet or exceed the provincial standard that is being put into place. Now, we do recognize that this is going to have a negative impact on our business, but paramount is the safety of our students. Part of our mitigation plan is going to be a blended approach to learning, which means we are going to be having in-person classes, but also online live classes. We just feel that this is going to be the best way of being able to provide our service and product to as many of our students as possible, since part of the social distancing aspect is going to be minimizing the number of students that we can actually have on the mat. The first part of our safety plan is going to be the controlled point of access. So for us at Hiscoe Jiu-Jitsu, that's going to be through our regular main front door. You'll notice on the sidewalk that there's going to be cones set up in front of the school. This will be where the students will line up prior to coming in towards the school. There will be a table set up outside where we will greet the students, take their attendance. We will ask their medical questions in relation to the COVID symptoms. We will have hand sanitizer available for them, and at that point they'll be able to enter the school and place their shoes slip-on at the front entrance. Now, we don't want them on the shoe rack, but simply on the floor by the wall will be appropriate. The next part of our plan is limiting occupancy. Now, we've come in, we've done the math on the mat. We actually used the tape measure and spaced out 2-meter bubbles, which means that for our space, we're going to be able to have 11 people on the mat at any time. You'll notice that behind me, we have the training bubbles marked off in green tape. You'll notice that there are some with orange cones in them, so you'll sort of have a visual representation as to how close the kids are going to be or the adults are going to be on the mat. During class time, we're not going to permit any spectators in the dojo. Again, this is about limiting the number of people that are in the dojo. So we've taken the seating out of our spectator area. This is also going to allow us to be able to sanitize the floor after class, as well as the training mat, all in one piece. Classes are going to be 40 minutes in length. This is going to allow for us to be able to do the sanitation in between classes. So when the kids or the students come off, they get their shoes on, they exit, they get another spritz of hand sanitizer. We'll be locking the door behind so that we can get the sanitization of the mats and the floors and anything else that needs to be done at that time. The third part of the safety plan is signage. We'll be having a sign right at the front door. Again, that is our main point of access. That essentially says if anybody has signs or exhibiting signs of COVID, that they're not to enter into the facility. We'll also have signs inside the facility ensuring that students are paying attention to the 2-meter social distance rule. And as well, if you have an area where students are going to be washing their hands, is having those posters demonstrating the proper hand washing. Now those 3 posters are actually part or provided by WorkSafe BC or Fraser Health as part of the guideline package. The next part of the safety plan is screening patrons that are arriving, or screening our students that are arriving. So as I mentioned, we'll be doing that outside at the front entrance table, and we'll be asking them if they have any symptoms. So fever, chills, cough, short of breath, sore throat, painful swallowing, stuffy, runny nose, loss of sense, headaches, muscle aches, fatigue, loss of appetite. We'll be asking the kids that. If the kids are too young, the parents can line up with them and answer the question for them as well. In addition, we'll be asking them if they are living with or have been around anybody that is sick or has been exhibiting signs of COVID-19. If anybody has, we'll strongly be encouraging them to contact 811 for further guidance. Our plan is managing the student entry points. And as we said, they'll be coming in through the front door, taking their shoes off, slip-on preferably, at the front entrance, leaving them on the floor, not in the shoe rack. And once their shoes are off, they'll be asked to find a designated training bubble on the mat. Once they're in that training bubble, we're going to ask them to remain in that spot for the remainder of the class. So there won't be any walking around the mat, running around the mat, on and off the mat. They'll have to remain in that training bubble for the entirety of the class, again, which is planned to be 40 minutes. The next part on our safety plan is payment methods. We are going to keep everything electronic. So I know that some of the parents have been doing pre-authorized bank withdrawals, credit card, and e-transfers. We're going to stay with those same payment methods. The next part of our plan is hand sanitizer stations. Now we're going to have one station at the front door where we will sanitize on the way in and as well on the way out. The bathroom is going to be off limits unless there's an absolute emergency, and part of the reason for that is that after everybody has used it, it needs to be disinfected, which means that that will cut into class time. So our sanitation station will be at the front door on the way in and on the way out. The disinfectants and the cleaning schedule. So if you do have a safety plan that you are writing, make sure that you have what products you are using listed. For us, the other part of this is going to be what gets cleaned. So between classes, again in that 20 minutes, we are going to be spraying the floors and the mats down, making sure that everything is disinfected, as well as the touch points, which would be the front door, light switches, anything in the front entrance part of the school where students could be touching, the front pony wall, all of those areas. So between every class during that 20 minutes, and we're going to have to boogie and hurry up so that the next group can get in, that is going to be what we are doing. The next part of the safety plan, again, is going to be helping us limit the number of areas that we are going to need to disinfect between classes. So we are asking all of our students to arrive at the dojo in their uniforms. So either in your gi, or if we have changed the uniform for that class, to come in prepared. The change rooms are going to be off limit, and the washroom is going to be off limit unless there's an emergency, but we want people coming in and ready to go. Adults, if you're coming in and you have a bag that you need to keep your stuff in, we can put those against the wall where the spectators would sit, as that's an area that's already going to be sanitized. For everybody else, please come in your uniforms, ready, take your shoes off on the mat, and away we go. The next part of the plan that I want to address is food and water in the dojo. So no food whatsoever. And as far as water for the kids, I'm sure that we can go 40 minutes without drinking. We're not going to be working out that vigorously. For the adults, if you're bringing water, bring water for the class. There won't be access to water at the dojo, so bring water with you. Keep it to the side in your bag. Maybe we put it on the mat in your training bubble. We'll see. But please, no food in the dojo.